Yo, what up, STOMP Wrestling fam? So, we gotta talk. It's MPKH here, filtered, unfiltered, whatever I feel like using. So I might go unfiltered today. Yay! And I got WrestleDrop here, the editor, the man himself, and I got the special guest, CPW's finest, Mr. Loudmouth. And we have an interesting question to ask you guys. Should CM Punk turn heel? Ready? So let's start off the conversation with the special guest, Mr. Loudmouth. Should your favorite wrestler turn heel?
Okay. Disclaimer, I put out a TikTok video where I called CM Punk. I don't know how many times I called him a deuce. I called him it was almost close to double digits. As far as I'm concerned, the only thing that's keeping Punk face is the fans. I believe that CM Punk was a heel to start with, purely because of the way he spoke and his attitude. And it has now come to light that the Punk attitude that was inside the ring is the Punk attitude outside of the ring. And as far as I'm concerned, CM Punk is already a heel. The fans just didn't know it yet.
I could see that. I see your point there, actually. The way the other wrestlers have always been saying, whether it's Hangman, whether it's Eddie Kingston, whether it's MJF, that they are protecting AEW from him. It kind of makes sense what you're saying, that he is already the heel.
Oh, yeah. I did mention that some of the rivalries that he's had almost felt as if the same, but I'm starting to realize, damn,
it's a bigger
they
picture.
might have had a point. They might have had a good point. Like, shit. I never thought I would agree with Eddie Kingston in my entire life. Well, I've agreed with him twice, actually. One for punching Sammy Guevara in the face. Nice.
Yeah.
And
agreed.
also about the CM Punk issue.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah, Sammy Guevara's got a punchable face. Even I would punch that shit 10 times.
So,
but anyways.
I'd risk a life in jail just to punch Sammy Guevara in the face. I mean, he's just got a face that just screams "punch me."
It really does. He really does. Him and Theory, just put them in front of me and just let me hit them.
Yeah, theory.
In Theory's case, he's a little bit tolerable. But
yeah. He's a lot
Sammy
bigger
Guevara,
as well. I'd be scared to take Theory on as well. Guevara's probably half my
Guevara.
size.
Nope. I'll smack you around, then I just give you 2 black eyes. Simple.
The saving grace for Theory, the fact that he did a very, very good Macho Man impression when Jonah, did the tsunami splash at him, and he did a very, very good Macho Man Randy Savage impression when he was in the way, which was really good. Which is his saving grace, by the way. The fact that he could do that. Go look it up. Sammy Guevara has got no redeeming qualities whatsoever. None.
Nothing.
None whatsoever.
So let's
anyways,
get back to the
enough
topic
about
at
Sammy
hand.
Guevara.
Yeah. So
Sure.
back to the topic at hand. CM Punk's a curse.
Oh my god, you love it. You love to see it.
That's going good
You love to
TikTok,
see
bro.
So
We
should
gotta
I know
post that.
we've now sort of come to a conclusion, or we have the idea that he was already a heel, but in the way he wrestles, he's not playing the heel wrestler. So in ring, that's what I'm talking about, not his character work in that. So do we want to see him turn full heel, where he's playing the full heel character, not he's the heel, but he's kind of sneaking his way into the good guy, into the face category?
I think he's toying with the fans. Like, he knows what he's doing. It's like, if you guys want to, and we saw from the reactions that he got from the Mox versus Punk squash match, we saw when Justin Roberts introduced him, the crowd was like, 50% of them were cheering, 50% of them were booing.
It was a
so
dead reaction.
they were very indecisive
And that
on
sounded
what to do.
dead because there was boos and cheers at the same time. So it didn't sound very good. But when he introduced
And
Moxley,
also,
it was like
oh,
you could see
it
he
was
was
like,
the clear
yeah.
face here.
Uh-huh. And also the fact that he held the title up for that long stimulated whether you cheer me or boo me, I'm the real champion here.
Yeah, that's the vibe I got as well. So, but did he? Here's a question: did this match at All Out or on Dynamite happen in order for a heel turn to happen at All Out? Did it give Punk a reason for the heel turn now?
Look, in that match against Moxley, CM Punk was kind of defeated by a heel turn. If you think about the move that caused the injury, so already there, it's a literal heel turn that he was.
Oh my god, that took me long to get, but I got
it. In terms of a figurative heel turn, it's hard to say because for being a professional wrestler and heels are expected to wrestle a certain way, and he doesn't wrestle that way. You expect him to do the dirty underhanded tricks and things like that. He doesn't wrestle that way. But his move set was directly lifted from Hideo Itami, Kenta, back in the day. From top to bottom.
Literally.
And when when Kenta came over to America and they wrestled, they booed Kenta for the moves that he was doing, even though Punk lifted his entire freaking moveset, move for move,
from Kenta.
And that started a dangerous precedent with fans, because as far as I can see, once you're a CM Punk fan, you're going to defend every action that he has. And by hook or by crook, you have got these guys that were every time at a WWE event with John CM Punk. You go to wrestling events and you hear CM Punk, CM Punk, CM Punk, and he made his fans so rabid for him that he could literally go and Amber Heard somebody and go and crap on their pillows and film them and every second of the crowd would cheer him for doing it. That's how cult-like he made some fans.
Oh my god! If Punk craps on my pillow, I'm not gonna be happy. I'm just saying.
Dude, I would fully throw a tantrum.
I'll smack the taste out of his mouth quicker than his last UFC fight.
I would slap that Pepsi tattoo straight off his arm. I'll just slap a tattoo off him.
Man, I would drop him. Man, if CM Punk did that, I would drop him quicker than how Vince McMahon dropped him on his wedding day.
Oh my god. And Punk got squashed on Vince's birthday. Oh, brilliant.
How ironic. Okay. Okay, enough with the C. Okay,
and here's a question.
CM Punk insults.
So if Punk's turn heel, it's pretty obvious it would happen at All Out this weekend. If it were to happen, is it possible for Punk to turn heel in Chicago?
Bro, I think it's the Chicago fan base would eat that shit up like it's groceries.
But they would just cheer him. He wouldn't exactly. So that's why I'm asking: is it possible, or is it just going to end up being a face like a face like Moxley, which is that badass face where you never know what he is actually? Is it just going to be that if he turns heel in Chicago?
I think the babyface role has kind of run its course right now. So I wouldn't be too upset if Punk turned heel, because now it's like, yeah, you got the dirt sheets shitting on your name. You got the wrestlers in the back shitting on you. So, yeah, and people want Punk to turn heel. So, yeah, do it.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
But in Chicago, I think that's a little bit tough. I don't think he's going to turn heel in his hometown.
The perfect scenario there would to give him the Muhammad Hassan treatment. Get guys to come in there, just jobbers or something like that, and get them to come in there and just take Mox out.
Kind of like
Just
the
take
Shield situation where he was denying.
Yeah, and then do the straight edge society again, and
Ooh,
you
I
know
could see that. I could see that.
that's something like that done. That's the only
So you give
that's
Punk,
the only
you give Punk the heel win, but it's not obvious that it was Punk.
yeah
Is that what you're
yeah.
saying? I
Yeah.
could see that. I could see that. You kind of take Punk out as well, kind of like the Shield story where they were trying to accuse him of forming the Shield and all that. I could see that.
Same.
I could see
Same
that working very well, actually.
Yeah,
All right.
but I
Give him
mean,
some guys.
the stories around CM Punk, even before, I mean, there's been, and I've had an interaction with CM Punk on Twitter when we started out wrestling and things like this, and CM Punk was just blowing up. A few guys from South Africa got a hold of him on Twitter and said, "Hey, listen, yeah, this is happening. We just like your opinion on one or two things." And he's like, "I don't give a shit who you are. I'm not fucking interested." That was his tweet.
Wow.
Sounds like
whatever.
Punk.
Dude.
Sounds like Punk.
And we were like, okay, we're professional wrestlers too, and if you want to treat us that way, you can go and fuck yourselves. And he's like, "Oh, I'm really sorry. I'm under a lot of pressure and things like this." And a few guys turned around and said, "Hey, listen, yeah, dude, it's too late for your apology, man. You went," because he apologized like 2 weeks later.
Yeah, no, that's just.
After we had our first show, and we like doing backstage interviews and like, "Hey, blah blah this, that, the next thing." And one guy turned around and just said, "Fuck CM Punk." Sorry for my language; it'll probably get us demonetized. And he saw that, and he was like, "Hey guys, listen, yeah, I want to apologize, and I've been under pressure and things like this." And we were like, "Too late, dude. Too late." And it's not the first incident where people have spoken to him, and he's just like, "Yeah, not interested."
We had the discussion about Punk last week, where we discussed after the whole beef came out. I think it was just me and you before we discussed this, and we said, if you have, whether it's a work or not now, it's questionable, considering how that match went. But we said, if you've got issues in one company, then you've got issues in another company. Who's the common denominator there? Punk.
Well, I think in Punk's case, I feel like, and this is going to be a shocker. Oh, wait, no, it won't be. I feel like he's too entitled to take accountability and see that maybe he might be the problem. And also the
part
fans.
Of the problem.
Or
not
part
necessarily
of it.
The whole problem.
Well, yeah, he's definitely not the type to take accountability and say, oh no, I was wrong, I'm sorry, all that nonsense. He would just want to play victim all the time. And we've seen with some of the whole, with this earlier interview this month, like a couple months ago, where he said, "My time in WWE was like, it felt wasted." And I was like, you felt like you wasted your time in WWE when you were a two-time champion,
all those
won the Money
millions
in
of
the
dollars
Bank
in your
twice,
bank accounts.
and hell, you met your wife there. How did you waste your time?
Those millions of dollars in your account, all a waste.
Bro.
He would have been forgotten about if there was no WWE. Yeah, he was huge in ROH. But so were a lot of guys. So were a lot of guys that didn't make it in the end to the level that he is now, or to any level. So
he faded into oblivion.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, put it this way. He was champion for 486 days. Okay.
He got the Roman push.
You're not just champion for 486 days in WWE. And then complain about they wasted your time. He complained about having a match with The Undertaker at WrestleMania.
Bro.
Just because he wasn't the main event.
Just because it wasn't the main event, he completely didn't want it.
Come on.
Dude, there were 50 guys in the company. 50 guys in the company, and they say, "Hey, listen here. You're not going to be lost, but you're the Undertaker's opponent, and he's coming."
That's second best at Mania. If you're not main eventing, but you have the Taker match, that's second.
And that match is regarded as like possibly one of the Undertaker's best matches. Even
Top 5
CM
at
Punk's.
least. Even CM
Yeah.
Punk's.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, but bar the two Shawn Michaels matches and the Triple H one, CM Punk's the next one,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd say.
and then a distant fifth place is him and Randy's one
Yeah.
when they first started discussing the streak, and man, all the things that he was earning close to $90,000 a month. The only person that was selling more merch than CM Punk in WWE was John Cena, and John Cena was the top for many years, and CM Punk wasn't far behind.
Like
No.
CM Punk has done a lot in WWE. Had great rivalries with, and we all know his top 2 rivalries are with John Cena and Jeff Hardy. Also, what else has he done? He's done a lot. So, you really think you wasted your potential in WWE? Like, really? Just because you didn't main event WrestleMania, bro? Come on, it happens.
Also, think about the WWE ECW thing. There was a whole angle between the originals and the new blood for CM Punk services. It was a story for almost 2 months.
If I think of WWE's ECW, I think of Punk. That's who I think of.
Longhead Punk in the black trunks with the black kick pads.
Exactly.
Coming out before they used Cult of Personality. They used the thing with the
Screamo song.
Thing in the front.
When I think of WWE ECW, I think of Punk, and I think of the originals. That's who I think of.
That's it.
Yeah, that's definitely.
But he wasted his time. All right, fine, son. You said you wasted your time. Let's have all those checks back. You got fired. Shit, you got fired on your wedding day. But in hindsight, did you cause your own situation by being yourself?
Yeah.
And the answer is 8 years later. The answer comes around and says yes.
How much of him, here's a question, how much of him going to AEW was down to his passion for wrestling, which he claims to have reignited? Because I remember him saying for so long, even when AEW started, he's not going to do wrestling again. He hates wrestling. He doesn't give a shit about wrestling. So how much of that was down to that, and how much was it down to the payday?
I think it stemmed down to a few things. And I think it stemmed down to a few things. 1 and 2 are so obvious. Number 1 being, sure, I want to be the top guy and I want to do this, and that. Like, say, I don't want to be in the same room as Colt Cabana. I don't want anybody to mention Colt Cabana in their promos. I don't want to hear Colt Cabana's name ever in that company. Number 2, it stems to doing it out of spite for WWE because, yeah, he definitely wouldn't go back to Vince McMahon, and he damn sure wouldn't go back to Triple H now that he's in charge, because we all know the history of Triple H and CM Punk. It's not pretty. Trust me.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just a big hypocrite, but he gets people behind him, so he's doing his job right, I guess.
And then the people that call him out on these actions get called the bad guys. Hence why we're doing this video.
Exactly.
If I had the choice between doing what's right and putting a whole bunch of money in my pocket, it's difficult to say.
I'm being honest.
The money.
If you low on money and you literally can't do anything else in life except for wrestle at this point in his life, he's a big name. He can't go work in random places right now. Let's be honest. He
but
probably
like the
will
UFC.
Just imagine
he tried that out.
Just imagine seeing CM Punk working at Walmart. Like, bro,
yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
Weren't you a champion before? What are you doing here?
Than wrestling, to be honest. He can do commentary for UFC. He can do this and that. But he's quite limited at this stage, I think. So he's going to take the bag all day long.
The one thing there I want to mention, guys, is because he's not able to do anything else, and you, as much as you need professional wrestling and professional wrestling needs you, which is totally bullshit. The professional wrestling doesn't need anybody. You can put any part of anybody in professional wrestling. You can put anybody under mask. You can give anybody any gimmick you want. Professional wrestling will always remain here. The engine will be the same. The parts are interchangeable, but wrestling will always be the same. With you or without you. That's how the engine evolves. First, there was cars that you had to use a hand crank to start the car. Then came internal combustion engines. Now it's electric cars. It's always going to evolve. It's the same with professional wrestling. Professional wrestling is always going to be here. It's how you respect the game. And what annoys the hell out of me about CM Punk is he doesn't respect the game and he's entitled. And because he's got that cult of people that will pay money to put their ass in the seat just to chant CM Punk, he thinks that he is elevated from the game and that all of the politics that comes out of his mouth, he is next to. Because here's CM Punk and here's his opinion. And the two are not mutually exclusive. Where, in fact, they are intertwined, and you should really, really consider being thankful that you're a part of professional wrestling. Because if you can't do anything else, you should be on your hands and knees thanking everybody and sundry that you still got a freaking job.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Yeah, most definitely.
And I suppose you want to talk about it being a professional wrestler yourself.
Oh yeah.
So I think that's it for the video. I think we basically agree Punk's basically already a heel, but we kind of want him to go full on heel at this point because it's bound to happen. It's bound to happen.
I just want him to be away from professional wrestling.
Okay, that too, because he's a doers. We get it.
Oh yeah. Loudmouth is definitely riding that CM Punk hate train.
And for those of you who don't know what a doers is, it's basically an arsehole in South African terms.
No, female genitalia. Call it what it is, Ricardo.
Yeah, but we don't use it in that sense. We kind of use it for any arsehole.
Yeah. Okay, put it this way. Two kitty cats making love. Now translate that into Afrikaans.
Okay.
Anyway.
Anyways, so that was us on CM Punk turning heel and him being a dous, as Loudmouth would say. So, if you like this video, please be sure to stomp on that like button, stomp on that subscribe button, and stomp on that bell icon to be notified when your favorite Stomp boys and Loudmouth himself here appear on your screen. So thank you guys for watching the video. Follow us on all our socials, especially Loudmouth. What are you doing at this point if you're not following either of us? So that, ladies and gentlemen, has just been too sweet.